Dr. Akpaffiong, I wanted to send a short video to congratulate you on your retirement and thank you for all that you have done for the Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences through your years of service here at Texas Southern University.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. Thank you for coming. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rashid Masavin. I'm the Dean of College of Pharmacy Health Sciences. I do remember Dr. Macaulay J sitting on the very front row.
When I first joined the college over 25 years ago, Dr. Akpaffiong was then the dean of the college. And one day in the afternoon, I got a call from the dean's office that the dean wanted to see me.
Many people do not know that Dr. Akpaffiong was actually my teacher, was my preceptor as well. Back in '91, I was in his health dental psych unit. And Dr. Akpaffiong would be there early in the morning, and you have to be ready and know everything about, the patients in the psych.
I was a student of Dr. Akpaffiong. I remember sitting in the class. He was so passionate about those antipsychotics. He would come in rattling them off and talking and going on and on. And it was always so much information. I would just say, oh my gosh, there's so much. How does he know all of that? And how am I going to remember all of that? And, but he found a way, and you could tell he enjoyed it.
There's always that one person that's like, I ain't gonna buy the book. Okay. So they didn't want to buy the book, right? So they didn't buy the book. They made copies of the book. Okay. So they had copies of the book. They had made it and folded it into a book. It was a big piece of paper though, so you could tell it wasn't his book, and it was copied. So, Dr. Akpaffiong was walking around class, he's walking in the middle, and then he sees the student, because the student is standing on the edge, and he looks at him, and he didn't even say anything to him. He waited until he got so he could say it on the microphone. He wanted all of us to hear. He told the student, points him out. He said, I'll sue you. and then he stepped back, and he said, and I will.
As a student, I think we all had a very healthy respect for all of our professors, but there were some that you really just feared. And Dr. Akpaffiong was one of those professors. I remember one summer, Umar's over there. He's the father of my lovely children. We were on campus, and Umar was an athlete, and he had these running shorts that kind of flapped in the wind, and a running shirt that was all open. And Dr. Akpaffiong saw us walking in the hallway, and he saw Umar, and he said, so Umar goes over there, and he's back and forth talking, and then Umar's gone. I'm like, okay, I don't know what happened, but I'm going to the library. I'm going to finish studying. Umar comes back 45 minutes later, shirt, tie, slacks, dress shoes, socks. And I'm like, what happened? What's going on here? He said, Dr. Akpaffiong told me to go home and change. So I knew, whoa, that's a code of excellence to live up to.
When I interviewed for the position 4 years ago, it was actually May of 2019. Of course, back then I did not know the names of most of the folks who were sitting in the room as I gave my interview seminar. So he thought he was going to ask me a tough question. So he says, well, we have all these deans coming and going. I've been here a long time. What makes you so different?
When I walked into the dean's office, I saw Dr. Akpaffiong wearing suspenders on top of his very nice suit and attire. So my heart started racing and I started shaking. He brought me to his office and he said, I called you here because I wanted to personally tell you that I have secured the funds to pay your summer salary, the entire summer salary. While I was still frozen, he then said, go back to do whatever you need to do, young man.
We called it looking back and moving forward. And of course, we would not be anything if it were not for our legacy families. So rather than we talked about the history of the college, I asked Dr. Akpaffiong, as a legacy builder, his family, to come and be a part of that program.
Without his dedication to education, without his dedication to perfection, without his dedication to commitment and discipline, I won't be here.
Dr. Akpaffiong came as a student to this great institution, and what an honor to live as a professor from this great institution. His service to the students, to the university, to the staff, and also to the faculty is honorable, and thank you for your service. Thanks again, and I hope you enjoy your retirement with health and whatever you wish to do.
I am Macaulay J. I'm a professor in pharmacology I've been at Texas Southern University as a professor for about 43 years.
My name is Akpaffiong Wade, previously Akpaffiong, and Professor Akpaffiong is my dad.
My name is Ifeok John Akpaffiong.
Your relationship?
Dr. Akpaffiong is my father.
My name is Washington, and I am his daughter. I'm Dr. Akpaffiong's daughter.
My name is Mfon Mays. Dr. Akpaffiong is my dad, uncle. I call him my dad, but he's my uncle.
My name is Itoro Akpaffiong, and I am Dr. Akpaffiong's nephew.
My name is Robert Atai Akpaffiong. He's my father. My father passed away, and he picked up the role.
My name is Utip Akpaffiong, and Dr. Akpaffiong, or Professor Akpaffiong, is my uncle. My father had died when we were early in age, and it just seems he stepped right in. He became our father, so even though it was uncle, it was still just father figure for us.
So throughout my dad's career, there are some standout moments that I remember fondly.
We would go to the lab with him. He worked in a research lab with mouse and things like that. So I remember he would make us go with him. At the time, we didn't really see what the point was in going with him. But then as I grew older, I realized, okay, he was trying to teach us something.
I must have been like between 5 and 7, and he would like the dopamine, and he would practice. I didn't know what he was doing, but in fact, I even thought my dad invented dopamine.
One of my most memorable experiences with Dr. Akpaffiong was when I got accepted into the high school for health professions. And he was so excited that he brought me to his lab where he was working on a cure or some medicines for hypertension. And I got a chance to see him at work in the lab working on something that would change people's lives forever.
Him picking me up when I first came here in 1988. He picked me up and took me to his house, and I'd stayed with him throughout my whole high school from 88 to 91.
Especially for the summer times, but it didn't matter when. It was always, what are your grades looking like? Here's a book, I'm gonna drop you off at the library. Y'all will spend 3 hours or 4 hours there, put a little money in our pocket to go eat, and get right back to reading books and writing reports. He just led by example. If he asked you to be up studying, he woke up 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and studied. If he asked you to put in extra hours, he did the exact same thing.
Nice, my dad is up 2, 3 in the morning. There was days I was coming home late from the club and he'll be up studying and I'm like, wow, and I'm out here partying. So I think it's just amazing to see what he's done to be able to balance work and family together and just make it all work.
I had to achieve before I could actually be able to take care of my family. So I didn't really establish a family or had a family, get married, until after my first degree in pharmacy. The Bible says, teach a child the way he would go, And when he grows up, he will not depart from it. So that's how my parents brought me up. They had to make sure I studied, and they had to be hard on me as far as education is concerned, because they knew the importance of education, even though they did not really go to school. So I had to make sure my children put in their time and energy to study, and the result is what we have observed today. They're able to take care of themselves, take care of their family, without really bothering me, because otherwise that will still be my responsibility to help them one way or the other. So they had to learn from me. Children learn from their parents. I learned from my parents. And I had to act and behave. Even though I require so much from them, I can't be an hypocrite, requiring them this and doing the other. So they saw me study. They saw me organize myself in one way or the other. And I encouraged them effectively by demonstrating from my life. What I do remember most in my academic career is when I got my professorship. I got a BS in pharmacy. I got a PharmD. I got a master's in pharmacology from Bath in England. And then when I got my also PhD from Bath University, but then you have to work for so many years again to get the professorship. And that is when I got that. When I got that, I was something one cannot forget. But I realized in teaching, and what any person who teaches should realize is that you must be well prepared to teach, which means you have to know the subject matter. Otherwise, you cannot be that effective. If you know what you're going to teach, and the student will really appreciate that. They will know whether you know or not. Well, I want to devote my time, really, working, developing the church. Yeah, we kind of in the stage which I can hand it over. I wanted to be in a stage I can hand it over to other people, to other pastors, because I had also used my time while teaching to go to theological seminaries and got the pastorship certificate. So I want to develop the church, hand it over before I leave this world.